Hey, this is Bill. Now I can start. This is Bill, and it's December 17th, 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't have a guest on until 11. So we're going to do a special blab today. We're always going to look at different things that we can do to improve with blab. And today's topic, it will be about starting this book that I'm starting. And the title is, the title so far is The Millionaire Netcaster. And it's going to say something like using websites, blab, YouTube, and iTunes to create your livelihood, something like that. So that's what's going to be the topic today. Hopefully get some folks on. You can go over to netcasting101.com, and also the special right now, and this is the first thing you learn when you make money, at least in my book, is start doing affiliates right away. So my affiliate is right now, if you go to netcasting 101, you will find SiteGround, and SiteGround's got a great Christmas sale. It's like under $4 a month to start a full-blown WordPress site. I think that's with the domain too. And then I'm throwing in special on top of that. I'll go in with you for an hour. I will install ahead of time. I'll install all your plugins, all premium plugins. I got about $2,000 in developer plugins, and set you up with Genesis Dynamic and a couple skins to get you going and start your blogging and starting the process of learning WordPress and this online business. Well, let me take a break. Not a break, but we'll wait till somebody comes up and then we'll record. Hey, I forgot to put some music in. You know, I need to add some more music to this. We're just getting this time system down the boss jock. Here's the other music we have, which you like best. Okay. With that, we'll take a break and we'll come back with the sound of the jet. The jet means we're back, and Jonathan is here. Jonathan and I are blabbing away, and I think Jonathan and I should be the one of the top 100 at least doing what we're doing, applying different things. So I started writing a book this morning, Jonathan.
Well, did you have that road to Damascus moment where you thought...
Coming down the hill in the ice last night.
I mean, that was interesting.
Hey, that chase event was nice. I went to a chase with my wife, and I didn't realize this, but it was first class. It was first class. It was all paid for by Chase. It was up at Harris. It had performances, plays, everything you can imagine. I was really impressed. I've never been to a real estate event where they treated the agents and the members so well.
That's great.
It was really first class. I've been in the builders and around this business for 25 years, so it was a lot of fun. It only took about an hour and 10 minutes to get up the Harris state line, which if people know Tahoe, Reno, that's California, Nevada. It's like on the other side of the lake from where we are. It's as far as you can go, but I was surprised with the weather.
Surprised by the weather, did you?
I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised that we made such great time considering the snow and the ice and all that.
Well, they keep those roads pretty open. They've got a ton of equipment.
Oh, they do. California does a great job.
It has to be pretty bad for it to be, if it's that bad, you should be up there.
Right. And you definitely don't want to go the other way, the scenic way.
No.
Where there's a cliff on both sides going straight down the top of the hill, lake, and one side, lake on the other side. It's really crazy. Okay. But anyway, here's my book. Let me tell you my idea and where I'm going to go. I'm just writing it. So it's the $1 million. Here's what it is: the Millionaire Netcaster. And then I'm putting in parentheses using websites, blab, YouTube, and iTunes to make your living, basically. And here I wrote the Millionaire Netcaster is dedicated to the men and women who, with the entrepreneur spirit, get up every day, create content, and never give up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because the idea is creating content for that lead magnet. But my first thought is, and this goes way back, you have to do two things right away, I think. One is you have to get some kind of a web page up. You should, I think, for success. Two is it doesn't have to be too fancy, but you get web page up, blog. Try to get a good platform though. Start right. And that's where I really do believe one of my early products I'm delivering is the ability to start right with a blab or a blog. And my thought there, I lead it over to you, is as you evolve, at some point, you're going to need to have a platform that can handle a volume. At what point do you need a new platform or transition if you're transitioning your post or your WordPress site to a more expanded site, you're going to be making money and have the money to help have someone transfer that.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I think there's also some larger issues, more strategic issues. But I don't know if you want me to go into
Yeah,
those.
what do you think? I mean, I'm trying to think. I really do believe you need that platform. You need the word. I think WordPress is as good as any start.
Well, I see that. I see that as the bare minimum just to get in, just to get yourself in a position. It's a bit like SEO. You know, there's on site, but that's just to get you on the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to get. But you got a ton of other stuff. That's just the bare minimum.
Right. But it's a process. I mean, I had to learn. I've been working 2 years learning, and I think I don't know if I could learn faster or not. I'm not sure. I guess you need like have a full-time coach working with you every day for an hour, maybe, who's really good, or a half hour, maybe once a week. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really, but that's that I think that's happening in WordPress generally. You know, there was I forgot the lady's name. She does a regular WordPress blog, blab. I think it's Militia.
We should know.
Um,
Blab, Blab. Oh, she's doing
yeah,
a Blab on WordPress.
yeah, she does a 2 to 3 shows and
Not iTunes.
no on Blab, and she said she can't keep up with it all and trying to do her business plus produce all the content that's necessary to promote it is becoming a bit of a strain for her.
Well, you know, the other things I'm going to go into in this book are the other thing is other than getting your website up, there's 2 ways. You get website affiliate accounts up, way to grab email. The other thing is applying this content creation to other businesses that you already own or want to expand, whether it's a real estate agency or a store, restaurant, things of that nature. So that's what I'm going to think about. So here's some of the other things we're going to be looking at on this blog is in writing this book online using the blog at netcasting101.com. That's netcasting101.com. With the help of netcasters across the world in search of the proven model that creates income for those who create content in this world of new media. That's what I put. It's really a new world of new media. The question, then the question to the netcasters across the world is, what would it take to net $1 million a year in personal income from netcasting? So you're the very first person I'm asking that question, Jonathan. What would it take to make a net $1 million a year in personal income from netcasting? What do you think?
I think that's a very. I think you're looking at the 1% of the 1% of modern media that make that type of income.
Well, somebody's got to do it. So one of the models I was looking at, and I never bought his initial program, I wish I had, was John Lee Dumas. I worked with somebody else to learn podcasting. John Lee Dumas, he had good timing, I'm sure. He made Noon noteworthy, but there's a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know.
No, but like I say, he is the 1% of the 1%.
Oh yeah, I agree. But he did it though. I mean, it proves that you can do it. It's like breaking the 4-minute mile.
Yeah, but like I say, he is the 1% of the 1%.
Right. That's not an answer though.
Well,
how did he do it? How did the 1% of the 1% do it?
I think it was like we've had this discussion before. I think he has a good team. I don't think he did it on his own. He is, as a presenter, quite very good at what he does. I think you need oxygen as well. When he entered the market, it had died a death, and about 3 to 4 years before he entered the market was pumped up around podcasting. A lot of the large media corporates had entered the market and basically they hadn't got anywhere with it, and they had removed themselves. And podcasting wasn't dying, but it wasn't exactly growing, and it wasn't really on the attention of the established media. With changes with the iPhone, and especially a Pacific app for podcasting, when he entered the market, it was starting on a trajectory back up again.
Right.
So his timing couldn't be better. It's a mixture of factors. If you could write out, precisely, like it was like making a cup of tea. You do this, you do that, you do that, you get success. We would all be successful, wouldn't we?
Well, but we can be successful at certain levels because that's like how the military trains. They've got manuals and procedures that actually have developed over the years. The problem is in this world of technology, not the problem, but the challenge, I say challenge, is this technology is changing and moving. For example, what worked last year probably doesn't work this year. So we got Blab this year. It's a new platform. And it's speed. And that problem with the podcast, the biggest problem with the podcast are twofold, I see. Maybe three. One is it's not overly difficult, but there's 100 steps to get a podcast up. That means it takes time.
Well, it's not only that. Most people, I think, if it's part of a marketing strategy to promote an existing service or business, that will probably be more sustainable. But on the other hand, it's still probably, I think, to really establish yourself in any kind of niche market or larger market, the larger the market, the more resources and the more time it's going to take. On a niche market, I think even now you're looking at a year and a half, and that's a lot of episodes and that's a lot of effort. And most people, unless they've got existing established business or they've got the resources or something, the situation that would allow them to continue, most people pod fade, and they just don't pod fade because they give up. They pod fade because they run out of resources that will allow them to continue. Because this is a much more of a contracted slog than what most people realise. Most people give up, and they give up for very good reasons. They run out of money, time, resources.
I'm going to argue that case. I do agree that they do give up and they pod phase at 3 to 7, but I think most people after 3 to 7 get into it and they quit because of motivation. I think after 3, I mean, you should have enough money. There's something called there's two ways: a side hustle. You keep your job, and on the weekends you create a podcast. I mean, you can do that indefinitely, right? In a blog.
But it's all kind of linked, because that's fine, but you're not going to get, it's all the other things. It's the building your list,
That's tough.
It's the outreach, it's building credibility on that, talking to other people in your niche community.
Right.
It's all the soft things that you got to do around that all takes time.
Right.
Writing. If you're just going to put a podcast without good notes or good articles or good written material, you're and then hopefully at some stage doing outreach and getting those articles published on other sites. You said yourself, one of the main things that you're going to try and do, and I'm going to attempt, is to get on other podcasts.
Right. It'd be easy for us.
But you can't do that if you've got a full-time job.
You can do it on weekends.
Or it's not so. But people have family. They normally got a spouse that wants you to be around. So
we got excuses now. We're talking. It's not the excuse show.
No, these aren't excuses. These are things.
Yeah, that's what gets in the way.
These are the reality of the situation, Bill, and this is why it's a much harder business to actually. And digital media in some way is much harder than a traditional business because the amount of competition you're going to be facing is unlimited, and the quality standard in websites, in online advertisement, in podcasts, the standards are just increasing. They're not standing still. Um, in the WordPress community, because of Ellipso and the things that Matt announced at WordCamp US, it's pretty obvious the world of WordPress is going to dramatically change in 2016 from a very PHP based to a very JavaScript
Hmm.
based platform. And, that's going to cause a lot of, you're already seen a lot of free plugin um, developers junking their plugins because it's just taking too, they're not making any money from them. They get abuse from people that it's a free plugin and they start abusing the developer for lack of support. Um, there are issues, and Ellipso and the JavaScript thing is only going to accelerate these issues.
Okay, Jonathan, here's my close for today, and we'll get on. And this is my end of my first blog for this book. I wrote this morning. I wrote it pretty fast. Now I'm going to modify this. This is kind of neat. I'm going to blog this thing because I've got this new little plugin that I pay for. It's a premium plugin that it can actually help me write and blog, which I love. I really love it. I love starting to write online. It's kind of fun. So here's my last one. My thanks in advance for those who helped create this book, and thanks to you first, because you're the first person who've really you've already had a great deal of creating this book, and it's not even written yet, and we have. Well, and then I openly invite you to share your thoughts and ideas on this blog and at the Facebook group Netcasting 101. That's 2 words, Netcasting and space 101. So I'm starting today. I think that's my project right now, and it's kind of fun. I don't have to put more than a half hour into it a day, but it's something I'm going to enjoy, and I think it'll give us insight on this, how to make, and the question is how to make $1 million net. So what do you do? What things you do? I don't plan on doing, and no, first of all, you're not going to make this overnight. It might take 5 years. It might take 1 year, but you're not going to make $1 million overnight. We know that, right? Odds are, unless you have tons of money, you can hire people and maybe get a business going right away.
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's a volume game, and volume, it's not important. Pat Flynn, other people have built really good businesses basically on discussion. They provide resources, but they provide quality. It's a chat show. It's a discussion. They get around building up online businesses. And because Pat has built up a successful chat show around that particular area, because he gets the volume, that gives him the credibility to get the guests that he gets on. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But to actually, he's made it quite clear. He found the initial niche around architecture exams, and he provided a resource which was seen as real value. So people actually paid him to provide that resource.
Right.
And that gave him the initial credibility to build out his program into a much broader topic area.
So that's going to be one of our chapters down the way is, some of the specific ways and examples of creating this $1 million income. And he did it based on a knowledge base, things of that nature. Hey, I want to wrap this up and just tell folks, I'm not making this into iTunes. This is going to be made into, I'm making this as fast as I can. I mean, because the one thing I find in Blab, and this is what I love about Blab, is there's people out there who are watching all day learning stuff. And if you can tie into those people, they're brilliant. I have a couple folks I've tied into are just brilliant, and you wouldn't expect them to be brilliant. They're not necessarily business people, but they just bring some great ideas and tools and thoughts. And you learn stuff every day. So with that, let's give a quick pitch. I'm going to do a timelines later on today interview, and that's going to open iTunes. We have this afternoon. Is it this afternoon? When's our next show? I could look.
I'm sorry.
We got Mail Right with.
We've just done that, Bill.
Excuse me, not Mail Right. We do too. We have one of my favorite shows, WP Tonic, and we're going to have the creator of Dynamic on, and that's going to be today.
Yeah, at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks. Please join us. There's going to be a lively discussion as normal. Bill's going to be like a pig in muck. You know, he's going to be talking to his beloved Dynamic developer.
I'm going to listen a lot.
So Bill's going to be happy.
Eric Ham.
Yep. Eric's built up a fantastic niche business. He's built a niche in a way, folks. But it was big enough. He saw the opportunity. Him and his team have built a really quality plug-in system that builds upon the top of another fantastic niche product, Genesis from Studio Press, which then builds on top of another great product, which is WordPress. So you've got the initial product, you've got a niche built on that, and then you've got another niche built on top of that. So you've got a number of people that are making a nice living. Some of the questions I will be asking Eric is not purely technical, but how did the early days of building up his business? What were some of the crucial insights that you can provide people that are trying to build a business in the particular area of WordPress? Well, what were some of the mistakes he made, and what kind of advice? And Eric can speak from experience because he's done it, Bill. So I hope in 2016 to get more of those type of entrepreneur online business owners on WP Tonic and broaden the discussion about how do you build a successful business online in 2016.
Hey, folks, I think that's really good. And let me tell you, one last little story. Jonathan came to me. It was kind of neat. I was going to WordPress a couple of years ago when I first got out of the military.
It was about a year and a half ago, actually, Bill.
At least, wasn't it? We could go back and look at the first.
It was about a year and a half ago.
I was going to WordPress before that, though. I think it was about 4 or 5 months after I started going that you talked to me about creating a specific. I started timelines and creating WP Tonic.
Well, you actually said to me, and a couple of people had been saying, if you really want to market yourself outside the area, Jonathan, look at podcasting. And it was Kim Doyle.
Right.
It was encouraging me, but I knew it would be a long-term commitment, and I just feel sometimes it causes tension and can be difficult having a co-host because it is a kind of marriage. But on our hand, I think it's so much easier and much more sustainable if you've got two people co-hosting. And I didn't really want to do it without a co-host. And then you came up and you said, "Oh, I'm really into podcasting. I love it. And why don't you think, why can't we do a WordPress together?" And I thought, well, sometimes God intervenes, and I thought, let's just do it and see. Just do a couple, see how it goes, and now I think we're over 70 episodes, aren't we, Bill?
Right. And the other thing too, that's when we started that. But I mean, I started podcasting before then. I had my very first WordPress was a free theme, really cute rose, but you only did about 3 things. It was basically a blog. I had I took advice from another podcaster on WordPress, and that's a mistake. That's a mistake. You want somebody who understands this online communications and WordPress to help you. And I think Jonathan and I, between us, have got that down. I mean, I'm not bragging, but we've learned. And here's where it came from. Jonathan really knows the technical aspects of WordPress and code and all that and how it all ties together. I sort of looked at the business aspects and the marketing, and I think between us, we probably move faster.
Yeah, well, the other thing, folks, I've been thinking about this, and it's a very difficult balance if you're a business owner, because you get genuine considered advice, you get very flippant advice, you get advice from all over, right?
Right.
And you need a strange dualism if you're a business owner. You need to listen to everybody, but in the same way, listen to nobody. Because if you listen to everybody, you'll just be a leaf in the wind. You'll dart from one thing to another like the wind, and you'll just get blown around, and you're very unlikely accomplish what you're looking to accomplish for your business. But on the other hand, if you're just got blinkers and you don't listen to anybody's advice, you're losing upon their experience. Group knowledge is going to be a lot more powerful than, 5 intelligent people bring a lot more life experience, knowledge than what one individual can have. So it's a very difficult situation when you're trying to build up. I'm actually attempting to try, which is a bit ridiculous, really, 2 businesses, and that are only a few months. I've had one that's been in continuous development, but when I look at my original product, it was never going to fly. And then I added some, and then I finished with we have finished now active development for the next 6-7 months. But I have ended up with a much more sophisticated, bigger product. And it's been a difficult road and a much longer road, a road that's taken over a year. But it's cost me a lot more money in time and energy, and money. But it was worthwhile, because the original product that I envisioned was never going to fly. I'm not even sure what I've got now. I am satisfied with the end product now, but it doesn't really matter what I think. But on the other hand, if I was trying to sell a product I didn't really truly believe, it will show. Don't know how good I try, it will show. I think I've ended up with a product now that offers really good value. My other business, which is around WordPress, I've been doing WordPress work for over 7 years, on the more traditional model. I just decided 6 months ago that I wanted to change my business model and go into maintenance and try and get clients from a much larger area, and support and education I do actually like. So I'm not exactly starting a new business, am I, Bill? I'm just trying to change the direction and refocus it and utilize the resources of the podcast and the other things we do, and kind of link them to what I'm trying to offer commercially, aren't I?
I just put change with innovation as it evolves and needs. Innovation and needs. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, one last thing, little tricks and tips.
Was I just rattling on, or did that make sense, Bill?
No, I'd say you did both. You rattled on and made sense. You talk to yourself what you're doing in transition, which is nothing wrong with that. I saw you improve a lot. I think this is great. And like I said, we're going to post this up just to YouTube. I'm going to put it on the site.
I think you spoke to that. I forgot that. It was a great interview that you did on your timelines of success with that. I forgot that's trying to, or has developed that video, that webinar program, that webinar software.
Oh yeah.
What was the gentleman?
Omar Zinhome. Zinhome.
Oh no,
His podcast. He gets $40,000 downloads on his podcast.
Well, see that's a fan, you want to listen to that pod. You want to listen to that interview, folks, because it was Bill was an excellent interview, and there's some really. But what Omar pointed out was the amount of time, effort, and work him and his partner have had to put into this business,
Right.
and also he's quite experienced business owner. He's had various
Right. In education.
reasonably successful, and he had a full-time career, but he's also built up a number of other businesses. But he said building a SaaS product has been the most hardest thing that he's ever done.
Software as a service, and that's another story. But that's what Jonathan has been working on for the last 6 months.
And it's true, Bill. If I had known a year ago how difficult this was, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Right.
But I'm invested so much of my psyche, a little bit of money, but so much of my personal credibility and the way I see myself into this that I can't back off. But if I had known a year ago what I was getting involved in, I wouldn't have done it, Bill.
Hey, Jonathan, let's knock this thing up. One last thing. Guess who I sat? I sat with the former owner of Swills last night. Talking about Reno News, Swills. They sold out last month.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
I didn't know that. I've been going over there for coffee, been working more. So I agree, and that's fun, Jonathan. You are going to go over right now. We're going to work on your SaaS product. We're going to do some testing, right?
Yeah. So Bill's been very supportive, and one of the great things, folks, is that his wife and Bill are very knowledgeable of the real estate industry. So it's been a great resource for me. And Bill, I've had what I love about Bill is he can be a bit of a handful sometimes, but he's not a very negative person. I think he kind of, and he does do stuff where you listen to a lot of people, folks, who have got very nice federal state jobs. They don't really understand the entrepreneur, and they really don't understand what that individual's going through. But Bill's always pretty upbeat about things, and he does stuff. So I'm always there are two qualities that I always admire, folks.
Hey, Jonathan, couple of things.
God, Bill, I've been really nice to you.
I know, very nice. But here, I've seen Jason up there. I've been seeing Jason see a lot of our stuff at their shows and stuff. He's from Sun Valley Real Estate over in Arizona, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure he's connected. He's doing this blab stuff. He's ahead of folks. I suggest that you might bring him into your test team.
Yeah, we'd love to have you, actually.
And get his input. Because one thing I've seen Jonathan go from zero in real estate concept. Here's what I think is good. And I'm going to close with this. I bring a different perspective to what Jonathan does in WordPress, and I think it's been complementary. I think I brought an initial perspective to Jonathan. I saw Jonathan's perspectives on real estate, and he was sort of like from the outside. You were amazed initially at the commissions and the glamour and all that. I mean, we were talking about a couple of people you met, but I don't think you understood what it really takes to make a living in real estate. And to me, it takes getting listings. It takes a team. You got to generate listings, because when you get listings, and the buyers come naturally. And a lot of people don't get that. They don't get that. And it's a lot of hard work. You got to get it going. Real estate's a tough business. But I think you start to see that. You see all the stuff that's thrown out. I mean, it sort of reminds me of what we do in netcasting. We get tons of stuff, or in our business, the online business, we get a lot of stuff thrown at us too, don't we?
Yes.
So we got to watch it. We got to sort through it. And real estate agents the same way. Hey, let's knock that out because we got to get going. Jason's up above. I just put a little note to him. Easiest way to get a hold of Jonathan. What's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Well, if Jason wants to get hold of me, it's best. I'll just put it in the thing.
You can call me too if you want to ever call me Jason.
We love you. We love you on board, Jason. Because I'm looking for some agents as part. I call them partners, and that really want to get some results in 2016. And that's not disparaging, folks. I think everybody says they want to get results. It's a difficult one, isn't it, Bill? Because everybody says that, but there's a price that has to be paid to get those results, and a lot of people aren't prepared to pay the price to get it, are they?
Nope, nope, nope. It's hard work and it's commitment. You got to invest money. You got to take risk. There's a lot to it, but you got to do it. Hey, Jonathan, I realized we don't have like any applause. Let's finish up right now. Let me we'll go off the line. So here we go.
Keyboard's gonna...
Okay, here we go. Thank you. And Jason, make sure you sign up with Jonathan. I recommend, you don't have to or anything, but get connected. We've seen it out there a lot. So we thank you. That's another thing about Blab. I think you always have to bring in those people who come and listen and watch and contribute.
Yeah, Jason, I've got Jonathan at mail-right.com.
Oh, nice.
If you just email me, Jason, and then we can arrange to have a chat, a video chat, and we can see if we can work together. I'd love to help you.
Okay.
He's got his functionality, because what happened, folks, I had the marketing functionality all mixed up with the actual I'm trying to find the right word.
Okay, the product itself being MailRight, the marketing platform over here.
Yeah. So what we did, folks, it was getting really very messy. So what we did is we separated into two separate websites the coding functionality from the marketing functionality. And in the new year, I do plan to offer the whole coding functionality as a standalone product to wait you go
so like technical you're talking right now. I know I understand it because I've been around this stuff, but
it's terrible, isn't
like client.mail-right.com. I think that's one of the products. And thank you for saying that. I'm understanding better every day.
Yeah, it's a bit why we did it, Bill, but we had to do it because it was ending up like a dog's breath. We had all this code all jumbled up, and I just couldn't have it. Especially we were getting more clients. It was putting stress on the code folks, so we had to act, and we did. So we've done all that, which is a major thing, but also we've increased the functionality of the core product by, I would say, by a half.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree with that, Bill?
No, I agree. So client.mail-right.com is your actual site that you have the sold product on. Mail-right.com is your sales platform where you're taking the sales.
Yeah, and you go through. And
it's a subdomain, but it's still separate WordPress installation.
Yeah, and and also we added even more complexion. Do you understand WordPress multi-site, don't you, Bill?
Barely multi-site. It's just go ahead.
It's a bit of animal, and because we were my core product, folks. I'm not blowing my. I think it's just amazing product and amazing value. What we've built now. I think it's.
Go on tap, Jonathan.
I think it's freaking amazing what we've built. We have built it now on the core of WordPress multi-site, which is a bit of a handful, but we've got it all set up. So in the past 2.5 months, me and my team, this Bill doesn't. That's why I'm always in a rush, Bill, aren't I? Why I'm always doing.
Not really.
Because we have done a ton of work, Bill. We've knocked out a load of stuff over the past couple of months, and it's all come together. And we're getting really ready for 2016 and making a charge. And if anybody says to me that MailRight isn't offering really good value at its core price, I just look at them and I think, I cannot believe anybody will say that, because if they there's been so much changes, Bill, that I'm going to change the copy of some of the key marketing pages on the marketing site.
Mm-hmm.
The product now is a very different animal when I had that copy written. So somebody's helped me write that, and I'm getting that hopefully ready for the new year. So my aim is to get everything ready for the new year, Bill.
Yeah. So we'll talk offline, but that's just a little picture. By the way, in my book that I'm writing right now, I think that's some of the later strategies, what you're talking about. I mean, more expanded. That's after there's other ways to make money quicker and build up. And my whole theory is you start with affiliate marketing, just like Pat Flynn did, and then you build up and you learn your knowledge.
Well, which I'm also, I'm going to discuss that with my co-host. But what I hope to do, folks, in the new year is I still feel I have some little worries about the direction of WordPress, but I think it's totally correctable. And if there's some little corrections in the way that WordPress is going, I actually think there's still a lot of possibilities. And what's exciting, folks, I think there's a lot of possibilities in the business owner around training, around education, around making. I know some people that run very successful WordPress plugin and theme shops, and they actually don't code, folks. They haven't coded at all ever, and
Yep.
they're good leaders, good project managers, and they're good on SEO. I know half a dozen in the WordPress community that do not code, and they run very successful businesses
because they're good marketers and they use the tools.
And they're good.
Yeah.
They're good
They got a good
project
team.
managers, and they're good people managers, and they've got a good team, Bill.
Jonathan, I think you're in the last chapter of the advanced portion of this, maybe before that. But hey, let's knock it off. We got to go and get that MailRite thing fixed. And I'll be back.
Send me a Zoom in.
You know what? Do me a favor. I'm going to shut it off now. I'm going to put sound in one more time. Da-da-da. I turned it back on. I thought it was pretty interesting. Okay, that's enough. Let's get the jet ready. I'm getting better. That's how you get better doing this stuff. Hey, so folks, we're going over to work on Jonathan's product right now, which is through Zoom. So we all logged on Zoom. We're already up over in Zoom, but come on over there if you want to. I'll leave this up for a minute. Hey, one last thing. We weren't trying to just get people on a site. We're actually doing work on a product right now. So what'd you do? You look good. Oh, really? Okay, I'm still on Blab. So I'm pause recording.